Quincy, are you ready to go ahead and, can you introduce her, or do you want to come over here and do it?
All right, good morning, everybody. Thank you, Chantal, for being here. Next, we have Chantal Oltsberg. She is a registered dietitian. She's practiced medical nutrition therapy and nutrition counseling for 4 years, and she actually currently runs her private practice at Levine Jewish Community Center here in Charlotte. Chantal, thank you. You can go ahead and get started.
Perfect. Okay, can you hear me all right? Good, perfect. Well, good morning, everyone. As Quincy mentioned, my name is Chantal Oltsberg. I am a registered and licensed dietitian here in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm running my private practice virtually right now, so providing one-on-one nutrition counseling from the comfort of your own home and safety of your own home. And I also provide nutrition counseling services to multiple local businesses in the area. Today, I want to focus on the discussion between nutrition and Parkinson's disease. This is a newer topic in research, so we want to dive a little bit into what you can do as the patient or the caregiver to provide the best nutrition possible when you're taking PD medications or just making choices throughout the day as far as the best nutrients possible. So let's get straight into that. So the objectives of our conversation today, we want to explain and understand the common nutritional concerns impacting individuals with PD. We're going to list and understand the macronutrients and micronutrients that affect individuals specifically with PD. Talk about eating for brain health. Why is that so important? We'll end up finishing with anti-inflammatory foods. And lastly, a summary of our discussion. So with PD, or anybody in general, we want to focus on hydration, right? So as we age and our senses change, and as somebody with PD, you may notice that you have differences in your senses than you did pre-diagnosis. So hydration is key, right? So we may have lost the ability to know that we're thirsty, or we've lost those cues. So it's important that we understand we need to drink more fluid throughout the day. So how do we make sure that we do that? Well, the best recommendation I can give you, or anybody in general, is to purchase a reusable water bottle that has markings on it with specific measurements. So time of day, or the measurement mark as far as how many ounces of water in that container. So I put a picture here of an example of that. I have a water bottle that I carry around all day long. It's a great reminder wherever you go to continue to drink, right? So using that water bottle is important. But then another way to make sure that we get enough water in our diet is to consume foods that have higher water content. What are some of those foods? So tomatoes, cucumbers, radishes, watermelon, cantaloupe, grapefruit, broccoli, celery, the list goes on and on. So a lot of plant-based foods will have a higher water content. So that water content does contribute to your water needs throughout the day. So a question that I get a lot of times are, well, how much water am I supposed to drink? That's a very good question. There is a general guideline out there right now that says between 8 to 10 cups a day of water. So basically you would fill up a water cylinder, the graduated one here. You could do that several times a day, and that would ensure that you get enough water. However, if you're taking certain medications, if you're drinking coffee, if you consume alcohol, these are all diuretics. So these unfortunately will cause water to leave our body because of the processes that occur throughout our metabolism when we take and consume those foods or medications. So we have to consider that when we're drinking throughout the day. We want to make sure that we're getting enough water. For every cup of coffee that we have, you should have a cup of water with it. For every glass of an alcoholic beverage you have, do the same. So you want to make sure that you fill up what you lost. All right. What about digestive concerns? So it's very common for individuals with PD that are taking medications to have constipation. Constipation is defined as having less than 3 bowel movements per week. So how do we encourage ourselves to have healthier guts? We want to increase our dietary fiber. So you want to aim for about 30 to 40 grams a day of fiber. How can you do that? Fruits, veggies, beans, whole grains, those help to encourage you get additional fiber in your diet. So think about stringy vegetables or very thick skins of plant-based foods. Those have additional fiber in them. So be sure that you do consume the skins of fruits and vegetables and grains that you're consuming. That'll ensure that you receive the fiber from those foods. How do you get 30 to 40 grams of dietary fiber, you might ask? Well, a way to ensure that is any packaged food that you're consuming, look at the nutrition label. Use that as a guideline and as a tool to tell you how much fiber is in that food. Another way to keep gut health up to par is taking a daily probiotic supplement. So it's a very common term to hear that health starts in the gut. And there's a lot of evidence-based research out there to tell us that that is so. So to help your gut work optimally and to help you digest and absorb the medications you're taking for PD, we want to ensure that we have a healthy gut. So providing yourself with a daily probiotic is a great way to do that. What type of probiotic do you need? You want to try to get a probiotic that has lactobacillus and bifidobacterium in them. So lactobacillus, bifidobacterium in it. A majority of probiotics will contain these two types of strands of microbiota, but you still want to make sure it's contained in the supplement that you're taking. So what is the measurement of probiotic that you want? So for optimal health, our leading researchers have said that you want to get 1 billion CFUs. That's 1 billion with a B as in boy. So those CFUs are live cultures, and we want to work up to being able to take that much, okay? Because at 1 billion CFU, 1 billion strands of bacteria that you may or may not already have in your gut, that can be a little bit overpowering if you're somebody who has not taken a probiotic in the past. So you can work your way up, meaning if you have a probiotic supplement that recommends 2 pills for the full serving that is listed on the ingredient label, just start out with one of those pills, okay? And then work your way up. So if you're somebody that starts taking a probiotic for the first time, you're having immediate constipation, tummy upset, that might be a sign that your gut can't handle that much at one time. So again, work your way up. And I also recommend that you consult with your primary care physician and your healthcare team to make sure you're able to tolerate it, okay? So there is a suspected role in the risk of developing PD or PD symptoms worsening when our gut health is not healthy, okay? So the evidence is out there to say that we need to take this in consideration. All right. What are some other nutritional concerns with PD? So weight loss, loss of appetite, malnourishment is a huge concern we have to think about. So how do we increase our calories? We want to consume high healthy fat foods. So those are going to be nuts, coconut, avocado. You can also consume foods that will help to stimulate your appetite. How do you do that? So increase the herbs and flavorings in your cooking. Consuming bitter greens, as in beet greens or collard greens, or spicy foods will help your salivary glands to let you know that you are hungry, okay, or that you need more water, or you need additional food. That's going to help to stimulate that hunger that you may be looking for if you're lacking that. Exercise. Exercise is a big factor, right? No matter how much exercise you can get in, whether it's a little bit or it's a lot throughout the week, that's going to help to increase your muscle mass and also increase your hunger cues. So what about fatigue and sleep difficulties? So this is very common with individuals with PD, but also as we age in general. There is a possible connection between added sugars in your diet and increase in fatigue or increase in sleep difficulties. What do I mean by that? So a food that has had sugar added to it for flavor, we know that the higher amount of added sugar in our diet causes inflammation in the body, can keep us from focusing, can alternate our gut metabolism and the way that we absorb nutrients, okay? So trying to take out as much added sugar from your diet as possible is a recommendation I can give you here today. Well, you may think you're somebody who doesn't get a lot of added sugar. However, if you're somebody that puts a lot of creamer and a flavored creamer or added sugar in your coffee, you need to be mindful. That's additional empty calories that you might be getting. And it's also going to get you added sugar and you're not realizing it. So keep that in mind. Being conscious and aware of that is important to make these changes. So avoiding sweets. So having a spike in blood sugar over and over is going to increase inflammation in the body. When our body can't stable out the blood sugars we're consuming in our foods or beverages, we have to consider that. We want to avoid late night eating. Okay, that's going to help you to stable out your blood sugar so you can sleep better, but also help with your digestion because we digest the most at nighttime while we're sleeping. 2 to 4 cups of caffeinated coffee has shown benefits for individuals in PD. Obviously, we want to consume those that form of caffeine earlier in the day, not towards the evening when we do need to get our rest. All right. So another symptom of PD is orthostatic hypotension. So that's basically standing up too quickly and we feel very lightheaded, or we just feel lightheaded in general. A way to avoid that is avoiding large meals throughout the day. So smaller meals as much as you can. So 5 to 6 small meals throughout the day. You actually want to increase your dietary salt intake. So if you're somebody that suffers from orthostatic hypertension due to PD, your physician will diagnose that, or you are already aware that that is one of your symptoms. Increase your fluid intake, right? There's that hydration factor. Decrease your alcohol intake. Okay, so this is how we avoid symptoms of orthostatic hypertension. Bone health and low vitamin D levels. So that's another factor we have to consider with PD patients. So PD patients tend to have a dangerously low level of vitamin D3 when they're tested for their annual or biannual results. This can lead to osteoporosis and depression. If you are somebody who suffered from seasonal anxiety or seasonal depression, there's a lot of evidence to say that vitamin D deficiency is linked to this. So we can avoid that by supplementing. So how do we supplement for vitamin D3? So the recommendations are increasing as far as what the healthy ranges are. So most recently, our healthy ranges have increased to 50 to 80 nanograms per deciliter, okay? So 50 to 80 is your healthy range for the most recent research that's out there. So if you're somebody that is deficient in vitamin D and you found that out from your most recent lab work, supplementing with a supplement with 2,000 international units a day will help you to reach that 50 to 80 nanogram marking that we're looking for, okay? This is gonna help with optimal vitamin D status. Now, I will tell you this. We live above the equator, okay? So from the hottest and warmest months of the year, from March to November, you can go outside, uncover your arms, uncover your legs, get out in the sun for at least 15 minutes without any form of sunscreen, and you can get all the vitamin D you need from the sun in just a 15-minute time frame. So that's fantastic. What's the downside of that? So because we live above the equator, the coldest months of the year, which will be November to March, we will not get the vitamin D that we need from the sun. So we rely on dietary intake of vitamin D. However, it is challenging to get all the vitamin D we need from our dietary sources. So the colder months of the year is definitely a time frame I would say to supplement with vitamin D3 daily. All right. A macronutrient, which is a vitamin and mineral that we need to consider with PD, is that vitamin B12, B6, and choline are in charge of nervous system function. So there's evidence out there that indicates that supplements may be beneficial if you're taking levodopa for vitamin B and choline, because levodopa will actually deplete these vitamins in mineral stores in the body. So the recommended daily allowances of vitamin B12 are 2.5 milligrams a day, vitamin B6, 2 milligrams a day, and choline is 550 milligrams a day. So if you're interested in what your numbers are that you're trying to reach, those are the values, okay? But if we are supplementing with a B complex B vitamin, that will help to ensure you're getting the B vitamins that you need. Choline is separate. That's a micronutrient, so that's a mineral. This is something you can supplement with as well. However, we're going to jump in a few slides into what food sources we can get our vitamin Bs and choline from. Here we go. So where can we get vitamin B12? So fish, shellfish, liver, red meat, eggs, poultry, dairy products, fortified nutritional yeast, fortified breakfast cereals, and enriched soy or rice milk. And B6 will be beef liver, tuna, salmon, again, fortified cereals, chickpeas, poultry, and some veggies and fruits, okay? So if you feel like you're getting these foods in your diet on a regular basis, then it's most likely that your vitamin B levels are probably in the normal healthy range. What foods are rich in choline? So you can see a list here. It's very common, you can see at this point in time, that your B vitamins and your choline mineral are in an abundance in animal byproducts, meaning animal foods that we consume. Okay, so going back to assessing what your diet is like on a typical basis, or if you're a caregiver for somebody with PD, are you providing enough meals that are bountiful in these types of minerals and vitamins? All right, so eating for brain health. All right, so brain health is important, right? Especially for somebody with PD. Well, why is that? Because PD is a neurodegenerative disorder. So we want to make sure that we feed our brain healthy fat. Well, how do we do that? We can do that with nuts. We can do that with turmeric. Ceylon cinnamon and rosemary contain anti-inflammatory properties for the brain. So the portion that we need of certain nuts, that's kind of iffy, right? We're not really sure sometimes, well, I can have this because it's a healthy fat, but I don't want too much fat in my diet. So how do I ensure I'm getting just enough, but not too much? So the guideline is really 3 ounces to 4 ounces, which is the palm of your hand. Now you can see on this picture here that certain nuts are larger in size than others. So that'll decrease the amount of nuts you can have in that handful, okay? And you can also go online and print off these similar types of graphics so you can have them at home. Let's get into anti-inflammatory foods. So medium chain triglycerides are important for brain health and to reduce inflammation in the body. So coconut oil, olive oil, oily fish, dark leafy greens, and soy products do contain a higher amount of MCTs, which are medium chain triglycerides. But then foods that are high in antioxidants are purple and red fruits because they provide anthocyanins, which are the phytochemicals, which are the health benefits in the plant foods. So think about blueberries, raspberries, strawberries, grapes, and the list goes on and on. Green tea has a large amount of antioxidant in it. Now, when you're consuming green tea, we want to try to consume green tea with no added sugar in it, right? If we want to flavor it, then you can do so with a natural form of sweetener. So 3 cups a day of green tea is the recommendation to receive the antioxidant properties of that beverage. How do foods affect PD meds? So this may or may not be a new concept to you. Your physician may have spoken with you already about this, but your timing of meals and snacks are important with the medications that you're taking. So taking your medications at mealtime affects the absorption into your bloodstream. So the rate at which your body uses it and metabolizes it. So if you're taking carbidopa, levodopa, or a combination of both, those medications are affected by protein-rich food intake, meaning if you take a high amount of protein, dietary protein, within 30 minutes to an hour of consuming those foods, your medication may not work properly or as effectively. So because it's affected by foods specific in protein, we have to consider that. So a recommendation that has been developed is practicing protein distribution. So a protein distribution diet is when you consume proteins later in the day. So after you've taken your doses of your medication. So that means you're going to want to consume more healthy carbohydrates and healthy fat sources throughout the day. And when you get to the end of the day, that's when you can be a little bit more protein heavy in your diet. So what we found in research about that is that provides benefits of your motor abilities and there have been fluctuations shown in evidence-based research to say that the timing of the protein intake will affect those medications and your motor ability. There is no support to show benefits of a low protein diet, okay? So you still need protein in your diet. Protein is critical to our cells and the health of our cells and our brain health, but we just want to move the protein intake to later in the day, so a longer period after you're taking your medication. Again, I do want to reiterate, you want to talk to your primary care physician about this and taking your medications 30 to 60 minutes before meals, okay? So definitely work with your healthcare team on this to make sure you're getting exactly what you need. So what are our diets to-dos and not to-dos? So here are the greatest tips I can give you. So try foods offering a balanced amount of protein and fat, right? Sticking to protein later in the day, but we want to try to get nuts, avocados, whole grain, complex carbohydrates. So complex carbohydrates are the foods that are not refined carbohydrates. So I'm talking about the healthy carbohydrates we want to think about are fruits and vegetables, okay? And then your grains that are fibrous. So we want to reduce the amount of white bread, white pasta, white rice, cereals, and sweets that we're consuming, because those are not going to give us all of the benefits of the meal that we're consuming, okay? Because we eat to nourish ourselves. So the more processed and refined our foods are, we're not getting the benefits of that form of nourishment, okay? So adopting a Mediterranean diet. So there are a few diet recommendations out there as far as what to follow for an individual with PD. Mediterranean diet is one of them. And the Mediterranean diet is the #1 diet recommended by all physicians in all fields of medicine. Okay, there is evidence of reduced dementia with the Mediterranean diet. If you're not familiar with the Mediterranean diet, I do encourage you to go online and do your research from a accredited source. And I'm also available if you have questions about that. My contact information is at the end. I'll tell you what I tell all of my clients. You want to eat a variety of color in your diet, okay? So eat the colors of the rainbow. So as silly as that sounds, it is so important. So if you just eat specific fruits, specific vegetables, or specific grains, you're not getting all the benefits of eating all different types of fruits and vegetables, right? You may be missing nutrients because not all foods have the same minerals and vitamins or macronutrients that others do. So eat the color of the rainbow. What do you want to avoid in your diet? So high sugary foods, we've already touched on that. Fried food, cooked in saturated fat. Fast food is one of those things we have to consider. So if you're an individual that likes to frequent fast food restaurants for takeout or pickup, be aware that they may not be cooking your meal in the healthiest of oils. We want to avoid highly processed foods, right? So in general, with a diet with PD, we want to ensure that we are eating foods in their most natural form as possible, okay? So here are some resources for you. Where can you find additional information about diet and PD and how they both affect one another? So the Parkinson's Foundation is a great resource. The American Parkinson's Disease Association has some wonderful resources. Parkinson Association of the Carolinas, I have found, has some good resources online. And lastly, the Michael J. Fox Foundation. So the Michael J. Fox Foundation actually has a 40-page diet manual for individuals with Parkinson's. So I definitely give that a look. Okay. So as I mentioned earlier, this is my contact information. I do provide virtual nutrition counseling, so feel free to reach out to me if this is something that you want to partake in to get to a healthier journey with your diet and lifestyle. If we have some time, I'll take some more questions and I'll just hand it over to our hosts.
All right, so I think we're going to take some time just to answer a couple questions. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get to all of them, but they will be answered in the follow-up email. The first one we had for you was which probiotics did you recommend? There's so many different variations and they're trying to figure out which ones are the most beneficial.
Absolutely. So that's a question I get a lot of. And I'm not somebody to sit here and push one product versus the other, but I will tell you how to find a product that will be beneficial for you. When you go to the grocery store, you're ordering from a certified supplement company. You want to try to purchase a probiotic that's refrigerated, because remember, probiotics contain live cultures. So a refrigerated culture, one that has to be kept cold, will have a longer shelf life, if you will, even if it's a refrigerated product. As far as the brands, you want to make sure you get a probiotic that has a label on it that lets you know that it's been tested by a third-party clinical lab, okay? The supplement industry is not regulated in the United States, unfortunately, so a lot of companies can put out any type of product, but to ensure you're getting the right product, looking for a labeling on it that lets you know it's clinically tested, okay?
Awesome. And we actually had another one. It was a really good question. Can you get enough probiotics by eating yogurt with probiotics?
That's a very good question. I don't want to say yes or no. I'm going to lean towards you're going to get a much higher amount of probiotic in a concentrated form from a probiotic food or a probiotic supplement, because the probiotic supplement will have a concentrated 1 billion CFU, right? Or 500 million CFU, where in a yogurt, you're only getting the probiotic content that's in that one container. Keep in mind too, a lot of probiotic containing yogurts will have a lot of sugar in them for flavor, and the bacteria actually feed on that sugar. And some of them die while they're in the yogurt, or some of them may not be be more bioavailable to the gut. So I highly recommend just taking a supplement. You know, you're not going to get enough for gut health from a yogurt, in my opinion.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Chantal. We do have a few more questions, but I'm going to be sending those to you later, and we'll have them answered on the follow-up email. For now, we're going to take a 5-minute break, give everybody some time to use the bathroom, get a snack, and come back. We do have a few more presentations coming up soon. And two of those, the next two are going to be movement therapy. So just get ready to move it a little bit.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back. I think it's been just about 5 minutes, maybe about another minute more. Hopefully you're enjoying what we've brought to you so far today with Dr. Browner and Chantal. And as Chantal mentioned, always consult with your physician before you add supplements and things, but some great information there about supplements, especially probiotics. I thought that was a great answer. I've had that question myself before, whether yogurt's enough, and the whole sugar, eating the probiotic, wow, didn't even think about that. So that was great information for those of us who really want to use probiotics. So coming up, we are going to have Suzanne DiOrio, who's going to give a rock steady boxing demonstration for those of you who might not be familiar. So we'll give Suzanne just a moment to before she gets on screen so we can introduce her.
I'm here.
Hi, how are you this morning?
I'm fabulous. How are you?
Good, good. We're great. We're so glad to have you here. So Suzanne DiOrio is a certified personal trainer, a yoga instructor, and licensed Zumba instructor. She's also, of course, a certified rock steady boxing coach. She teaches rock steady boxing at the Jewish Community Center here in Charlotte. Suzanne, I wanted to ask real quick, do you guys, are you doing any of your classes virtual by any chance yet?
All of them.
Awesome. Okay, so we'll have Suzanne tell you about that, and we will. We can take a few questions at the end if anybody has questions about rock steady boxing, and we'll look at those when we get towards the end. Otherwise, we're so glad she could be here today on a Saturday and share her wisdom with rock steady boxing and the moves. So I'm going to turn it over to you. Thanks, Suzanne.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Anne-Marie. I'm so excited to be here and to bring the world of rock steady boxing as a movement therapy to you with Parkinson's. It's very near and dear to my heart. I love it. So I'm going to dive right in and start to show you some of the basic moves that we are doing. You can see I'm not even wearing my gloves today. This is our new virtual world until we're able to go safely back into class. So I'm going to teach you some of the basics of what you can do even in the comfort of your own home. So I'm going to ask you to go ahead and stand in a split stance. I want to make sure that I get plenty of space for you to see me. So a split stance is one leg in front of the other, okay? And I've got a little space between my feet here. You can see that I am right-handed, so my right foot is behind me. If you happen to be left-handed, I'm going to ask you to put your left foot behind you, all right? So I'm going to teach you 6 of the basic punches. And whenever we punch, I want you to remember 2 things. One arm is punching, I'll just show you a jab. The other arm is just safely tucked in by my side, okay? So when I'm ready to throw one punch, I can release to the second punch, okay? So I'm going to teach you the jab. Your front foot, your front leg, that is your jabbing arm. And one of the greatest things about releasing the arm forward, you can notice I have to turn my shoulders. So that is a great start to being able to stay safely planted, one foot in front of the other, and just extend that arm as far out as you can. For those of us with Parkinson's, extension of our arms is very, very powerful in practicing any kind of punch, okay? So there's our jab. Don't worry if you can't remember these things, I'll keep you going. All right, so after my jab, I will add what we call a cross. Same dynamic, you can see I just turned my shoulders, okay? So just try that cross with me a few times. So far, I have not moved my legs. I am firmly planted. One foot still in front of the other, okay? Cross. All right, so let's practice a very common combination. You just learned the jab and the cross. Let's put the two together. So here we go, jab and cross. Got my eyes on the clock. Those of you who are following along with me, you may not even be standing. And that's the beauty of boxing for Parkinson's. We have some in rock steady that can stand and do all the moves, including the footwork. And we have many that prefer the security of a chair. The jab, cross, jab, cross. Once again, you can really see how I am thoroughly throwing my arm all the way out and I'm turning my shoulders. When one arm goes, the other arm stays. Jab, cross. Let's get one more of these. Jab, cross. Okay. Taking a break from the arms for a moment, I'm going to pay some attention to my feet. So I am keeping my legs in that wide stance, okay? Now I'm going to start to get some footwork going. Footwork in rock steady, footwork for Parkinson's is enormous. Again, if you were seated in a chair right now, there's always a modification which I'm going to show you, okay? So you can see I'm kind of rocking back and forth. Just rock, all right? So we just learned the jab and cross. Let's put it together with this rocking motion. This teaches us how to stay balanced, how to stay upright. Very powerful combination for practicing in the world of rock steady and Parkinson's. Okay, so here I go. I'm going to give myself a jab, cross, and then I'll rock back and forth a few times. I'm ready to go again. Jab, cross. Good. As I rock back and forth. Nice and simple. Jab, cross. The great thing about boxing too, jab, cross. You go at your own pace. So let's say you want to work a little faster. It might look like something like this. Jab, cross, back, forth. Jab, cross, back, forth. But like we just started a minute ago, maybe I prefer to slow it down a little. Jab, cross, front to back. Jab, cross, front to back. All right, so we're breaking out of that split stance. I'm going to adjust my camera just a little bit. I'm going to have you do a basic jumping jack. Now, don't worry if the first thing that you think of is this. We don't have to do it that way. Throw the leg out, throw the arms up. Throw the leg out, throw the arms up. Even if you're sitting in that chair, I've got you moving those arms, okay? So let's do 20 seconds, moving into a cardio series. I can't see you guys, but I know you're working hard for me. Good, I got about 6 more seconds here with this modified jack. 2 and 1, okay. Next one, a very, very powerful move in rock steady is to practice lifting those feet. I have planted myself next to a wall just in case. I always encourage those who are standing, if you feel you need the security, put your hand on the wall, okay? So come along with me. Let's do 15 more seconds of knee lifts. You can see my other hand. I'm using that as a marker. Now I may not be able to get to that marker, but it's a guidepost, okay? One of the most powerful things here that we can do is practice lifting those feet. All right, I need 5 more seconds. 2 and 1, okay. Moving back in, I'm going back into my boxing stance. So you can see there's lots of different placements of the foot or the feet. This is my basic, back to what we started with. Okay, now I'd like to show you what we call the hook. The hook is a turn to the side. And just like before, I always encourage, get that body moving, get that torso rotating. Your elbow in the hook is a marker, okay? You are really fighting someone, there's your opponent, there's your elbow right there. So throw that elbow in front, throw that elbow in front. All right, come along with me, practice 20 seconds. Hook, left to right. And again, because I'm right-handed, I started with my left hand. You might be left-handed, so you probably started with your right hand. Just hook and hook. In our boxing gym, we have a boxing dummy that we nicknamed Rocky. All right, that was 20 seconds. And he is a huge shouldered torso made of foam. And we practice hitting the rib cage, which is the area that you would want to target with your hook, okay? So I'm gonna challenge you all, just keep an eye on my time, challenge you all to put these three moves that I've just taught you together. So it's actually 4 punches. Back in my stance, it's jab, cross, hook, hook. Another great thing about this type of movement therapy, it's opposites. The brain loves opposites because it challenges the brain. So I'm going left, right, okay? Let's go, give me 20 seconds here. Jab, cross, hook, hook. Jab, cross, hook, hook. If I was in class with my students, or even virtually, I might say, hey, give me some of this. Throw that in, jab, cross, hook, hook, move those feet. Jab, cross, hook, hook, move those feet. Let's do one more of these. Jab, cross, hook, hook. Great job. I hope you're feeling it so far. Okay, I'm going to turn my feet so that they are parallel to each other. Toes are straight forward. We also have heavy bags, which we hang and suspend from the ceiling. We punch on those with our gloves. Oftentimes I'll have students down on the ground with the heavy bag, and as you can see in our virtual world today, I don't have a heavy bag, but I'm going to still do the same exercise. So I'm bending my knees, working on that stability. I've got my hands in a fist, and I'm going to punch straight down. If I had full contact with that heavy bag, it looked the exact same, okay? You can also see this is great exercise for the back. I'm just shifting my weight slightly left to right. You're looking good. Hopefully this is getting you feeling good on a Saturday morning. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so that's punching down. Next, I'm going to teach you the uppercut. So then you'll have learned all of your punches. I'm back in the boxing stance. Make sure I'm not on a tightrope. You can see I just put my foot behind me. That's not where you want to be. That's going to make you feel like you're going to fall back. Put that foot out wide, get space between your feet. Okay, my uppercut. My uppercut is here and here. In the real world of boxing, the uppercut hits the chin. It's sort of the total knockout move. So I tell my students, keep it close to the body and bring your legs into it. Another wonderful combination exercise where we just scoop down, punch up, scoop down and up. Good. This is called the uppercut. 2, let me go one more in, and 1. Okay. I'm going to move you back into feet for these last couple of minutes here. This is probably one of the most challenging things we do in Rock Steady in terms of learning how to navigate the space and turning, which is a very important real-world exercise for Parkinson's. It's called the pivot, okay? Again, my left foot is in the front, which means the right foot is going to be the mover. What I mean by that, I'm going to take a quarter turn to my right to this wall. Taking out my right foot, and my left foot is stacked right in front. And then I'm going to come right back to you, okay? That's called the pivot. We would typically see a pivot in combination with a few punches. So let's go back to the beginning. Jab, cross, pivot. Bring it back. You can see clearly the lift of that back foot and the realignment to a new space, to a new side of your room, goes hand in hand, let's say, with you're at the grocery store and someone calls your name. Hey, Suzanne. Oh, I know what to do. I'm safely turning. I practiced this in my boxing class. I don't have to worry about what's going to happen to my feet. So come along with me here for a couple of seconds, and we'll go jab, cross, and pivot. Here we go. Jab, cross, pivot. Come on back to the camera. Jab, cross, pivot. Each time, you got to tell your brain and body to work together. Jab, cross, pivot back. Good. Let's do 2 more. Jab, cross, pivot back. And here's the last one. Jab, cross, pivot back. I am back to center. Okay, I'm going to teach you 2 last things here before we turn it back over to questions. We are going to work on what's called a roll. This is a fun one because you get to imagine that someone has put a string or a wire right down the middle of your room. It's right over my head. Well, I don't want that on top of my head. This is how we teach it. So as I get my gloves ready, I'm going to roll underneath it. Okay? Now I just rolled to the right, which means I'm going to teach my brain and body to roll also to the left. Okay, so practice that with me. Roll under and roll under. You can see I've got my gloves ready. Roll under and roll under. This is one of my favorite combinations. So as I roll under to my right, I'm coming out with my hook that we learned a few minutes ago. As I roll under to my left, there's that hook. Okay, try it with me. Roll under, hook. Roll under, hook. Under that rope, hook. Under that rope, hook. Let's do one more of each. Hook, one more, hook. Good job, okay. Here's our last 30 seconds. I'm going to challenge your brain here. You are going to put all the punches that we learned together. But don't worry, I'm going to take you along for a ride with me. So here's what we're working on. I'm in the boxing stance. I'm up. I'm going to do down, cross, hook, hook, uppercut, uppercut. In the boxing terminology, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In the Parkinson's world with Rocksteady, I like to use vocalizations as well. So you can work on strengthening your voice, projecting your voice. So if you want to come along with me, it's going to look like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we reset. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Reset. Good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Reset. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's do one more. Good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, let's finish with one more piece of cardio. This is another favorite. It's called hot feet. I want you to imagine that you are running across some hot coals. And oh, by the way, you forgot your shoes. So you don't want to be going slow. All right, so the hot feet exercise is just like this. This is one of my classroom's favorite. They love it. Sometimes they're feeling super good. I say, hot feet to the left. Back to camera. Hot feet to the right. Lots of energy. Back to the camera. Good. Hot feet into a squat. Stand. Hot feet. Let's do that again. Squat. Stand. One more time. Hot feet. Squat. Stand. That about covers the basics of your boxing world. You just passed over into Rocksteady territory. So I'm going to open it up. Back to Anne-Marie, I'm assuming. Any questions anybody might have?
Hey there, sorry, couldn't get myself unmuted. I know there's a lot of people in the world that wish they could say that. They just can never get me unmuted. So somebody had a question about Rocksteady Virtual.
Yes.
So we will be sending out to them the Zoom links for you guys, for your classes. And I also want to let them know that in our e-newsletter, we always include a link to those virtual classes, as well as the corporate headquarters has a Rocksteady boxing class as well, in case they want to mix it up a little bit. So folks, when we do that follow-up email, all those links will be in there for those virtual classes and where you can find them. So I just want to take a look and see what questions we have. So someone did ask whether or not you're having, whether it's safe to attend in-person RS classes, especially if instructors and participants aren't wearing masks. Are you guys doing any in-person at all?
We have not yet, Anne-Marie, but we are in discussions about who might feel comfortable coming in.
Right.
We're working through the protocols of, certainly myself as a trainer will always have a mask on. I'm possibly going to be wearing a shield as well. We're working through whether or not we can do mitt work, which is something we all love, and I wasn't able to demo with you today. I need somebody else to do that with me.
Right.
But I'm hoping by the end of September, we will return to at least one in-person class, and it'll be small and we'll build on it, but yes, we're working.
Right. Yes, sounds good. Okay, and so we'll make sure that as soon as we find out about any return to in-person Rock Steady Boxing classes, we'll get that out through our e-newsletter or any individual email blasts. So again, be sure you sign up for our emails by going to the website, and you can join the email list from there, or sending an email to pack@parkinsonassociation.org. So thank you, Suzanne, so much. I tell you, I was trying to do it along with you, and I'm out of shape because I was getting winded, but I used to love boxing, and so I think it's just such a great thing for Parkinson's. It really does everything. I mean, speech, like you said, the physical. So thank you for bringing that and letting everyone get a taste of what it looks like.
I enjoyed it. I'm so passionate about it, and I'm just behind you guys 100%.
Awesome. Well, thank you. We'll be talking to you soon. Have a good rest of your Saturday.
You too.
All righty. Bye-bye. All right. So with that, I think we're going to move right into Miss Susan Wiseman, who does Power Moves, which is the Parkinson Wellness Recovery Exercise class. Susan is local here in the Charlotte area. She's a personal trainer. She is a physical therapy assistant. She has completed certification and training to be a Power Moves instructor, and is now the owner of Amp It Up Fitness, where she does personal training and therapies through there. We're lucky enough to have her today to show you the Power Moves, a little taste of that class, what it looks like. She will be bringing that to you with us through Zoom this coming Tuesday, September 15th, as well as an in-person class outdoor at South Park Mall Symphony Park. So tomorrow an email will be going out, and it will include the link for her Zoom session. And then, of course, we'll be sending out that information for the live class, socially distanced with all sorts of good safety protocols in place for everyone. So, Susan, thank you so much for being here today, and I'm going to let you take it away.
Thanks for having me. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, yes, we can.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Okay.
Yep, you're good.
So let me just start out by saying that exercise is medicine. So,
and then I'm sorry, I'm gonna stop you real quick because I forgot to tell people if they would like to ask questions, they can put it in the Q&A box. And if we have a chance to ask you, we will. If not, we'll take those questions and send them to you.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Susan.
Okay. So yeah, I just wanted to start by saying exercise is medicine. So evidence shows that exercise can help to improve motor and non-motor symptoms. And with the right dosage of exercise and diet, there is potential to slow the progression. So it's about finding what's important, what fits your needs and what you enjoy doing so that you'll stay doing it. And it's also kind of important that you challenge yourself. So kind of learning a new skill and stuff like that is important too. So anyway, Dr. Becky Farley is the founder of Parkinson Wellness Recovery, and she has translated the basic neuroscience of research about how to exercise for brain change into a framework called Power Moves. So Dr. Becky Farley created this as an evolution to her LSVT Big therapy program to make a more comprehensive, flexible, and functional model. So it's designed for that it can be constantly updated as new research is available, and it's easy to modify or progress based on an individual's ability. So the basic 4 power moves are performed with large amplitude and high effort and attention to action. So you really want to pay attention to where your body is in space and how that feels. They're performed in multiple positions, so sitting, standing, all fours, on your stomach, and on your back. They specifically target 4 functional skills that interfered with mobility. So Power Up targets anti-gravity extension. Power Rock targets weight shifting. Power Twist targets axial mobility. And Power Step targets transitional movements. So I'm going to go through some of these. So I'm going to step back and show you some of the moves in sitting. So if you want to follow along, that's great. If you have any limitations or restrictions about a certain movement, though, please just kind of sit back and watch. I want you to move within your range of motion. And if for some reason you experience pain with anything, stop immediately and kind of go back to a pain-free range of motion. So we do a lot of sitting throughout the day, so even exercises in sitting are important. So what we want to start off with, this is going to be Power Up, okay? You want to have a wide base of support. You want to sit forward in your chair so that you can have some movement. I'm going to turn so you can see. I want you forward in the chair, and I want you to have that wide base of support so you feel planted in your feet, okay? All right. So for Power Up, this is working our posture and alignment. So you have this wide base of support, put your hands on your thighs. You're going to hip hinge forward. And we're going to stay here for just a minute. I just want you to make sure that you're keeping your back straight, that you're actually hinging at your hips, not rounding in your back. Okay, and then you're going to come up to a nice tall, erect posture and bring your arms back. So I want your chest to kind of go up towards the sky and your shoulders to kind of come down and back. And you're going to hold this nice and tall and continue breathing through it. All right, and we're going to do another one. So place your hands on your thighs, hip hinge forward, keep your eye gaze forward, and then you're going to power up nice and tall. And again, hold that position up nice and tall. Make sure that you're not leaning back in your chair, that you're actually up really tall. Try to make sure that your hands are open wide and your fingers are spread apart so that you're having that big movement and you're focusing on all the parts of your body here, okay? So what this move does is it stretches our flexor muscles in the front of our body and strengthens the extensor muscles in the back of our body. And when we perform this move slowly and rhythmically, it can help with rigidity. So we're going to speed it up. Let's go through a few more moves of this, okay? So hands on the thighs, hip hinge forward, and power up. And then again, hip hinge forward and power up. And hip hinge forward and power up. And again, hip hinge forward, power up, and one more, hip hinge forward and power up. Now, this power up move we want to come to between each of the moves. So the next move is going to be Power Rock. So in sitting, we're working on weight shifting kind of on our sit bones. So again, we want to keep this wide base of support. And we're going to do a little bit of kind of the slow movement first to work on kind of stretching, and I'm going to add some breath work, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to put our forearm down on our thigh. So you're going to be weight shifting over to that side on that sit bone. And then if you have the range of motion, I want you to reach straight up. If you don't have the range of motion there, you may put your hand on your chest and just lift the elbow up, okay? So I want you to focus on that weight shift, but I also want you to see if you can feel a little bit of a stretch here. We're going to hang out here in this stretch for just a second. And then I want you to mindfully think about taking a nice deep breath in and pushing that rib cage out. And then exhale it to center, okay? And then we're going to go to the other side. So that forearm goes down on the thigh for support. And then you're going to reach it up. Make sure you're getting that good weight shift, and we're getting a nice stretch here. Open up those hands and fingers. You can even look up. Okay, and then again, I want you to mindfully think about taking that nice deep breath in and pushing that rib cage out. And then exhale back to center. Okay, so again, let's reach it up. And then back to center. Nice power up. And then rock it back over to the other side. And then come back to center. All right, and we're gonna do a few more of those and we'll just speed it up. So you're gonna rock and come to center, and rock and come to center, and rock, come to center, and rock, and center. Let's do one more on each side. Rock and center, and rock and center. And when we do those movements kind of fast and repetitive with repetitive effort, that kind of helps with the bradykinesia. All right, so the next move is power twist. So again, I want this nice, tall, erect posture of our power up. We're gonna reach our hands out to the side. This next one is power twist, and this works on our trunk rotation. So this is important for activities of daily living, so rolling in bed and driving and dressing, things like that. So nice and tall, hands open wide. We're going to twist over. You want to make sure that you're actually coming towards that back hand. Don't bring that hand forward. And then you're going to open up to announce power up. And then go to the other side and open up. And the side and open. Other side and open. All right, I'm going to speed it up just a little bit. So open, twist, and 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 open. Good. All right, the next one's going to be power step. So you have your feet come to the front. And I'm not sure if you have armchairs or anything, so we're just going to do a step out. I'm not going to do the full stepping all the way around, but I will show you kind of what that looks like. So this is going to help us do transitional movements. So it's kind of like unweighting a limb during a movement, depending on which position we're in. So we're unweighting our legs here and sitting, and this one would be a great one to perform to practice for getting in and out of a car or a booth at a restaurant and stuff like that. So again, make sure that we're all the way tall in our posture, and we are gonna step out and then step back in. Focus on that foot coming up and back in, okay? So out and back in, and out and back in, out and back in, out and back in. Make sure again we're lifting that foot up on the way out and on the way back in. And back in, and out and back in, out and back in. All right, and if you don't have armchairs, I'm going to show you what it would look like to go kind of all the way around. So we want to make sure that we're trying to, again, lift that foot up, but I also want you to think about trying to get your leg over as far as you can. So it's going to be over, and then we're going to bring that other leg over. And again, this would be one of those situations if I needed to get up out of a car or into a booth. And then you step it back, and just so we're even, we're going to go to the other side. So step it all the way around, and then here, and then back to center. Good. So you're kind of rocking and stepping on that one. So you've got a little bit of a weight shift as well as working on those transitional movements. All right, so I'm going to show you these movements in standing now. So if you have somebody close by, if stability is a concern, or if you want to use a chair, you're welcome to do that. I'm going to angle mine right at the moment just so that y'all can see my movement a little bit better, and then I'm probably going to come face forward. So again, power up is going to help with freezing of gait, or if you have hesitation. It's also going to improve your walking, and it's going to help to reduce falls because it's going to keep us in that nice tall posture, so our center of gravity is more in the center instead of forward if we're bent over, okay? So power up, again, if you need to hold on to something, please do. You're going to go back, shooting your bottom back as though you're sitting in a chair, and you're going to do a little mini squat. And it doesn't matter how far you go, do what you can. but you're sitting that bottom back. I don't want those knees coming forward. I want you to think about shooting the bottom back like you're sitting down, and you're gonna hold this, and then we're gonna power up nice and tall. Again, think about the chest going up to the sky, bringing those arms back to open up. I'm gonna do another one here at this angle, and then I'm gonna face forward to you, okay? So we're gonna come down in our mini squat, and then we're gonna power up nice and tall. So this is how it'll look forward. I'm gonna move my chair over just a little bit more. So it will look like this. So down and power up. And 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 down and power up. Good. All right, so power rock is the next one. Again, we're working on that weight shifting. This encourages a little bit wider base of support for us and gives us better stability. It also will help strengthen our hips. So if you need to hold on, what I'm looking for is for that weight shift in either side of your body. So you can just start out just going side to side. Try to make sure you're not turning your hips at all. I want you to kind of imagine that you have a wall in front of you and a wall behind you. So you're just staying in that really tight space going side to side. Then what we're going to do is to try and lift a heel up. So you're going to rock back and forth, just trying to lift the heel. And again, if you need to hold on to a counter or chair, please do so. And now I'm going to show you a full move of doing the arm and trying to lift that leg. And lift the arm and out. Good. All right, so the next move is power twist. So we want to come up to that nice power up position and have our arms open out to the sides. And we're going to do the twist. You're going to pivot on that back foot so that your hips follow with that shoulder. Again, make sure that arm's not coming forward, but they're actually coming over, and then open up to a nice big T. And then we're going to go to the other side and twist and open and twist and open and twist and open and twist and open and twist, open. Let's do one more on each side. Twist and open and twist and open. Good. All right, so power step. I'm going to show you forward stepping right now. So again, hold on if you need to. What I want you to do is take a big step forward. Okay, we're going to have a slight bend in our knee in the front, and I want you to try and keep that back leg straight, and then you're going to step it back. So then step forward, put the bend in the knee. I want that back leg straight. So in this position, you're going to be strengthening this front leg that has the bend, and you should be able to get a little bit of a stretch in that back leg, and then you bring it back. So step it forward and back, and step it forward and back, and step forward and back, and step forward and back, step forward and back, and step forward and back. Good. All right, now we're going to step to the side. So with the side step, I want you to think about turning your toe out to the direction that we want to turn. And we're also going to reach out our arm, and we're going to look in the direction that we're going to be stepping. Okay, so we're going to step out. Again, I want that little bit of a bend in the leg, and bring it back. And then step out and back. And step out and back. And step out and back. And step and back, and step and back, and step and back, and step and back. And one more time, step and step and back. Good. So practicing this repetitive stepping, and we can do this in all different directions, is going to help with your balance and mobility. And
I don't know if you can hear me.
Going to help to strengthen our legs.
You can't hear me.
And it's going to help us to catch our balance if we were to lose our balance. It increases our walking speed, and it will decrease
There's something wrong with her.
To check and see how I'm doing on my time. But it will also, putting these moves together, linking them together in sequences will also help with in coordination. And when we perform these in conjunction with everyday motor task and cognitive tasks, it will help.
Can you guys hear?
To see.
Never mind.
So all of these movements are
never mind.
Just an introduction to the power moves. They can be put together in flows and all to make them more complex. This was just kind of a basic movement pattern with them. So if you've got any questions, please let me know. And I also want to mention that the Power Gym that's in Tucson, Arizona, has a week-long retreat every year. It's usually in the latter part of May. That they'll have exercise and speakers and all that. And it's a really great experience. And then that you can find at powerforlife.org. So it's PWR and the number 4 life.org. You can also find power therapists and instructors on there based on your location. And if you want to get a little bit more information, they have a few YouTube videos up, and you would just go to YouTube and plug in Parkinson Wellness Recovery. So if you've got any more questions, you're welcome to email me as well. I'll be happy to try and answer anything I can.
Thank you, Susan. That was great. I really appreciated that. I did along with you. And I really think that part about you showing people how to sit and put the one leg over it and then the other leg for getting out of cars, that's really important. I don't think people stop enough to think about that, that moving that way out of a car. So that was
well,
great.
And like another one is power twist. We can think about like getting our seatbelt. So we're getting our seatbelt and then we're coming and we're twisting to click it.
Yep.
So there's a lot of functional movements to all of this where you can relate it. Same thing with like doing a power up and a step to like work on dressing, getting your pants on and stuff like that. So it can be very simple, but at the same time can be very complex depending on how it's all put together and everything. So it's a great program.
Right. Well, we didn't have a question when somebody thanked you for doing your exercises with a chair and then standing but slower. She said a lot of PD patients are moving slow these days. So they appreciated you doing that way. And of course, as always, before you start anything, check with your doctor just to make sure that, doing it with a chair or whatever is good for you. And someone asked if they can get a copy of this exercise video. So what we're going to be doing is uploading the recording of this symposium to our YouTube channel. So you'll be able to follow along with Susan again there. But then you also, do you have a separate YouTube channel for yourself that you're doing yet? I just wanted to plug it if you are.
No, I appreciate it. No, I'm not, but I am set up to be able to do some Zoom things, and I am going and doing some in-home personal training. I've got an N95 mask and shield that I'm, taking all the precautions that I possibly can if that's needed. But I have the option of potentially doing some Zoom things as well. So.
And of course, we'll be having Susan do Zoom Power this coming Tuesday, September 15th. And the email tomorrow will go out with the link for you to sign in. So you'll be able to join her with this power exercise class, as well as she'll be offering outdoor class sometime in the very near future. We will be getting that set up. So thank you again, Susan, so much.
Thank you for having me, and I appreciate it.
Oh, no, we appreciate it. Thank you. And I just want to let everyone know we're going to take a 5-minute break this time, give everybody a chance to stretch some more maybe, or get a drink. And then we will be back here at 12, exactly 12, with our next presenter, who is going to be talking about caregiving, Zachary White and Donna Thompson. And so thank you, Susan. In the meantime, folks, you'll see a slide with the sponsors on there and links to their website. Please go ahead and take a look at those. They have been so wonderful to support us with this event and make sure that they're bringing you the information that you would have normally gotten in person. So take a few moments to jot down those, or take a picture of the sponsor screen with your phone so you can have it for later. You'll get it in the recording. So we will see you back here exactly at 12 noon. Thank you.